I'm Natasha Lockhart. Welcome to Studio Chatter. Today we'll focus on healing, serving, and giving.
I'm Stacy Beck. We'll hear how one woman overcame obstacles to reach her potential.
And I'm Angela Euler. The holidays can push our mental health limits over the edge. We'll talk about help options.
And we'll learn about a group that risks all to help rescue people in Ukraine. All this and more on Studio Chatter. Welcome to Studio Chatter. Welcome back to our guest host, Angela Euler.
Thank you. It's always a party here.
Yes. We're here more often than not, it seems, these days.
Yes, but it's fun, and it gets me out, you know?
We love having you.
Because I'm stuck in a book too much.
Yeah.
So
I needed you
this
on
is good.
quick dial today. I almost called for like another person. Like,
Oh,
do you know somebody else? Yeah.
We could have done it, maybe.
No, I
We
thought
could
you.
have done it,
Yeah, for sure.
but we wanted you here.
Yeah, we
Well, thank
missed
you.
last
It's
week,
worth it.
last time, and now we miss Angie.
Yes.
she's in New York.
Yes. Yeah.
It feels like a busy month.
So Julie, who was here last week, she's in New York right now.
Oh, really?
And I almost called Angie to say, hey, you might be at the same play, because they're going to go to plays.
Oh,
You remember
yeah.
Angie talked about that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
thought that would
excited
be
to
funny.
hear about it. And then you just came home from Vegas.
Yes. So
So
I was
lots
there
of
for a
traveling.
work conference.
Okay.
Yes, and then just racing home because I think one of our guests was here the last time I missed, and I've been kind of fangirling over her. So I'm anxious to
She'll
see.
be here tonight.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
This will be so
That'll be
fun.
fun.
So how did the Nutcracker go? Your daughter was in the Nutcracker, right?
It went really, really well. And you know, it's always seems like it's so early when we do it, when you know they're putting that production together all summer, and then it seems like right on the heels of Halloween.
Yeah.
But then you go, and it was magical in so many ways because Barrett danced a few different parts. She was in a few scenes, but more specifically, she was the Arabian Queen, and she danced beautifully. But the night, like we had snow and the snowfall, and
So
it
the
was,
whole ambiance of it all.
oh, it was perfect. And so now, like
You're ready for Christmas.
ready. Mm-hmm.
It's here.
Yes, yes.
It
Bring
has
it
felt
here.
a lot earlier with the weather coming so soon. And I thought,
Lots
it's
of
just going to
moisture.
snow and be gone. As
But
of
no, it
now,
just-
I think it's
hasn't.
going to stay.
Keeps coming, yeah.
Right?
And it's hard to complain because we really need it, but
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, so I did have a little bit of downtime to shop when I was in Las Vegas. And
Yeah.
man, it's like in the stores, it's everywhere. And retail is just
All Christmas.
thriving. Yes.
Did you
All
go to the
Christmas.
outlets down there?
I didn't go to the outlets. I went to the fashion show mall. So
Okay. I don't know if I've been to that one.
it was
It was
awesome.
fun.
Mhm.
So
It was
did you start Christmas shopping or just
Of
normal
course.
shopping? Okay.
well, a little bit of both.
Okay. It's hard to not shop for
Yes.
yourself a little
Well,
bit.
a little something.
I know, because when you're out and you see it all and you're like, oh,
Well, you're doing all the work shopping, right?
yeah,
So you
one
have
for
to,
right?
one for
One for
them,
you,
two
one
for
for me.
because if it's
Exactly.
like my house, I do all the shopping.
Uh-huh.
My husband's like, okay, so what do I need to help wrap? He's just there for the touchdown. So
Yeah.
I think they're probably just as surprised sometimes as the kids are.
Wow,
Oh, did we get that? Yes, you did. No complaining because I did
awesome.
all the work.
This week, I will say, Chris said, hey, there's this sale on some hunting. It's a hunting line. Or no, it wasn't even hunting. Whatever brand it was. Should we get it for all the guys? Sure.
yeah, because they love hunting.
Well, especially, I'm like, if you're making the effort and you know this brand, that's
Right.
awesome.
100%.
Right.
We'll get it.
Go for it.
So
That's
trees
perfect.
up yet?
No.
My daughter put hers up in her room
Really?
already.
Okay.
She bought her own tree, has all the lights on it, and her own decorations. It's just a little one, but she saved the money. We went to Hobby Lobby and she bought.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
awesome.
that.
So she just puts up her own tree every year, whenever she wants.
I was tempted to do it early, but we wait till the day after Thanksgiving.
I pulled it out, so now I want it up. And then I have all the plugins in, so it smells like a big Christmas tree in there anyway. So I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready
You're
for
ready.
the tree. Mhm.
Oh, that will be fun.
And you had all the best holiday food.
Oh, it was so
I missed out, didn't
good.
they?
And did they send you a picture?
They
of
sent
all
me the neener picture. Yes.
Yes, it was delicious.
Oh, I'm sure it was lovely.
And So I look forward to Thanksgiving because that's when we're having more of Julie's
Oh yeah,
pie.
that's very true.
She's always assigned to bring pie, so that will be there.
She is.
But you've bought some stuff from her, right?
The raspberry stuff. I don't think I've ever tasted the bread. There's something else that she does really awesome. What
Her
was it?
macarons.
Yes. Yeah.
Her macarons and her cinnamon rolls
Oh, it's the cinnamon rolls.
are so good.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. When I took my sourdough bread, because we had
Yeah.
2 different kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah, my household loved it.
Did you get some of the cinnamon sourdough bread? That one was my favorite.
Mine too.
I actually hadn't had her cinnamon sourdough bread before. I couldn't believe I hadn't had that yet.
Well,
It
I
was
have a
so
good Black Friday special for you guys.
Oh, what
I
is
think
it?
this will air kind of over this time, so I'll say it. It's the Spanish Fork City Puzzle. It's going from $25 to $15
Okay.
from Black Friday through December 2nd.
Oh,
So
perfect.
you can just
what a
hop
great
online
gift.
and order it online. So SpanishFork.org. Yeah,
That's a great gift.
it is. In fact, we just did the puzzle, I think, for our 4th time over the weekend.
Oh, really?
My
How
3-year-old
fun.
grandson. He's like, Grandma, let's
Cute.
do this Spanish Fork puzzle.
Does he look for you in the puzzle?
He does. But he also likes, Grandma, let's find the water. He calls it the waterfall park. Where's
Oh,
the
okay.
waterfall park? Oh, here's the
The
horses.
all ability.
Where's the library?
Oh, how cute.
Yeah. So like, it's fun. I think it's fun to have these little kids like recognize this
The
is my
place.
hometown.
Yeah.
So
And all those connections.
yeah, not too old, not too young. They're any age.
Any
this is a
age.
gift for any age.
I love
Yes.
Small Business Fridays as well.
Oh,
Those are some of my
yes.
favorite. And I think one of our favorites, did I read that they're closing or moving or something?
Something. I was about to stop by today, and then it was a downpour at that moment. I'm like, I don't want to get out. But yeah, Real
Oh, we love
Deals
Chrissy. Yes. We'll need
is
to stop
closing
by.
her doors, but she's looking to sell. So
Yeah, my new business
So
owner.
we still have time to shop there.
Yes.
Maybe.
big sales right now.
Big
Oh.
big plug there right now.
I
Yes,
love
do some shopping.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a great show. Next on Studio Chatter, we'll visit with the hidden gift shop in town. Stay with us. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. If you're not aware of it, there's a great little gift shop disguised as a drugstore. Let's welcome Amberly Stoddard from Stone Drug to the table. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Hello.
It is kind of disguised, isn't it?
It is. It's had a little facelift, and we've got a cute little brick facade out front.
Which
and
I
it's-
love.
Yes.
And is also on the Spanish Fork City puzzle. You
Yes,
made it in the nick of
it is.
time
I
to just
know.
jazz up the store.
We did. Yep. And we love that puzzle. We did that as a family last week, and my kids were very excited to find Mom's work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, and you guys still do food in there too, right? Because I've heard people love the food in there.
Oh, it's
It
delicious.
is.
Hamburgers
It is so
and-
good.
Well, it's nostalgic. I think everybody kind of wants to go back and sit at the soda bar and do a little shopping and conveniently pick up their prescriptions.
That's
So,
right. Yep.
So, Amberly, tell us your role there.
So I am a pharmacist at Stone Drug. I have worked there for 20 years. I started there shortly after high school.
No way.
Yeah, so I've been there for a while. I started as a pharmacy technician, and then I went to pharmacy school at the U, and they let me come back, and I've been there ever since, and I love it.
That's so
so is that something
impressive.
you've always wanted to do?
I always knew I wanted to do something in the medical field.
Okay.
And so when I was at BYU for my undergrad and started getting those pre-med things and just kind of fell into pharmacy, and it has been the best thing for me as a mom, and just to be able to be a teacher in our in the community of Spanish Fork.
Yeah.
Super impressive and very difficult. That's a school. That's a hard school to get into,
Yes.
as I've heard. Mhm.
It is competitive, but I made it, and I'm glad I'm done too.
Impressive. And how many kids do you have?
I have 4.
Okay. And so, how many days a week are you working?
So I am there 3 days a week, so it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's talk about cold season. As I'm chewing on or sucking
On
on,
a lozenge.
yeah, I kind of have a little something coming on,
I think
tell
which
us
I
how we
hear half
can-
the city does right now.
I
Yeah.
think you're not alone. Yeah, I think it's going around for sure. So yes, holiday season is when we all get together and we do all of those fun things. And we share lots of food, but we also share lots of germs. And so, yes, getting sick during the holidays is a common occurrence. So I would love to give you guys some ideas about how
want
to
your
stay
ideas.
healthy.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about preventative care first to avoid the cold.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you some things that you already know, but isn't that how life is that we always just get reminded of things that we already know, but they're usually things that we're not doing 100%. So
Okay.
as far as preventing illness during the holidays, the number one things you can do are get sleep, stay hydrated, and exercise.
Okay.
Doing those all.
She's starting right now.
Yeah. Try the best you can to do those things, and I promise that is the number one thing you can do. But I know we're not all 100%, and so there are some ways that we can supplement those best practices. So I've brought a couple things. So this is a supplement, and this got lots of press, especially around coronavirus time.
Okay.
Vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. And I can tell you that
So it has all of
C,
them.
D, and zinc. Wait, that one has all of them?
this has all of them. So this is my favorite supplement. I always laugh because their motto is #1 pharmacist recommended, and
And
I
it really
actually
is.
do recommend this one.
it.
Yep. So yeah, these vitamins, these supplements got a lot of attention during COVID-19 to help bolster the immune system, and so this is a supplement that I do support. It does just have those things: vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc, and those things have data to support their effectiveness in
about-
preventing illness.
Sorry, in comparison to Airborne.
So Airborne has a similar ingredient profile. So we're going to get to this in the next thing, but my #1 advice to people is read labels. So turn the label over and just compare ingredients. And Airborne does have a lot of similar ingredients as this supplement, but it has a lot of extra herbal supplements that don't have as many studies backing their effectiveness.
okay.
So that's why I stick to this one. Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
And I see you've got berries there, so tell us about that.
Yeah, so that just goes back to those basics, just having a good diet. And so eating foods that are naturally fortified with immune boosting ingredients. So that's why I brought the berries. So fresh fruits and vegetables are nature's way of supplementing your immune system.
Which I don't think I've had a fresh
Antioxidants.
vegetable in 2 weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, I've just tried, because it's hard for me to get fresh vegetables too, but when I make soups, I will throw them in very last and very, very lightly cook them. Like they're still a little bit crispy in my food. And so, because the more you cook them,
Right.
then you lose some of the nutrition,
The
right?
nutrient
and
value.
so mine are a little bit more on the raw side. My vegetables are, but everything else
I
is
prefer
I prefer that as well.
Yeah.
good. I'm glad I'm
That's
not the
not all
only
mush.
one that's got crunchy vegetables.
Yep, for sure.
So we have the cold now. What do we do?
Okay.
Exactly. We did our best, but dang it got to us, which is kind of inevitable. So the reason why I brought these 3 products is to just kind of show you a demonstration of a struggle that I see customers deal with all the time. They walk in, they go to the wall of cough and cold medicine, and they're just overwhelmed. They just stand there looking at all of these products. Which one is the best? And so they'll usually, what I'll notice is that they'll typically grab the one that had a commercial for it, or that has the prettiest packaging,
Or that's cheaper.
or that's cheaper. And so it just goes back to look at product labels. So all of these cough and cold preparations here, if you flip them over to the back, they're actually identical in their ingredients. And so these manufacturers are smart. They want you to buy their products, so they spend money on commercials
I wanna
and,
see the front
and their
of both of them.
This
packaging.
is
This is one of my favorites, actually.
This
I like
is-
the combination of the Dayquil, NyQuil.
But if you look, it has the
It is.
exact same ingredients as those other 2 products. So always read labels. If you have questions, if you're feeling overwhelmed by that wall of
You're right, though,
products,
because it's
come
like,
talk to
I don't
us.
want to be medicine head, but I want to get through my day.
Come talk to the pharmacist or the pharmacy technicians, and we can help you navigate
that's
that.
good to
Perfect.
know.
Okay, and then the dry skin.
Yes, that is.
I'm already
okay.
a victim.
I know. I'm
Yes,
hiding
it's
my hands
changing.
back here.
that's therapy. I've not even.
So this is my #1
Love that.
tip for dry skin. We live in a dry climate, the heater's on all the time. So the best time to apply a moisturizer is after a shower or a bath. When your skin is hydrated, then that is when you want to apply the moisturizer. So then you're going to take it to the next step. So you're going to take your shower or your bath. You're going to apply your moisturizer. That CeraVe is my favorite.
With the one
big
underneath?
tube. Yep, the big jar.
This one.
Put a bunch of that on, and then you're going to put an ointment over the top. So I brought
this ointment?
Aquaphor. Put
Okay.
the ointment over the top, and then you're going to grab a pair of cotton gloves.
Cotton gloves.
Put those on top, and you're going to sleep that way.
Sleep.
Feels super awkward, but give it 2 or 3 days, and you will have new skin.
Those were both very
Really?
good products for my baby with eczema. Like,
Yes.
it's very, very good for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Oh,
like
I've never heard of
those
that.
because they don't have dyes or fragrances. So
Okay.
yes, for babies, little kiddos.
Perfect. We'll sleep with our gloves.
Yes.
So what about the boutique part of the store?
Yes, so that is a fun part of the store
Okay.
is having our little gift section. So every holiday we bring in different fun things, and so we brought some things to show.
So cute.
And we love it. We just love to display different decor elements that you can easily change out in your home that are affordable, that are practical, that just kind of add something new to your home without spending a whole lot of money. So
Yes.
Our other
Stone
co-host
Drug has-
loves Angela
Oh,
loves it, and
yes.
she's always wrapping something from Stone Drug. So
And Stone Drug has had gifts from clear back to the 80s. I
For
remember
sure.
people, could they register for weddings there?
I believe
perfect.
so.
I
Oh, yeah.
thought so.
Yeah,
You
at
could
one
at least
time.
buy things there.
Yeah, we don't have a registry anymore, but
Right.
definitely we do gift certificates, so that's an option for
That's
sure.
awesome.
Well, you've been around forever because I used to live by Stone Drug, and I'd save my money to come in and get penny candies. They used to have penny candies back. Can you imagine?
Yes,
like
we did.
people just put their hands in there and like.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Not anymore.
forever. I just grew up
Yep.
and loved that store.
We have 2-cent candies now, but they're the little prepackaged ones now. So
thank-
yeah,
perfect.
Yes.
Well, such
Times
a
have changed.
That's
staple
right.
in the community. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank
of
you.
course. Thanks
Stay
for having
healthy.
me. That's right, you guys too.
Coming up on Studio Chatter, if you struggle with depression during the holidays, stay with us for some help. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. For many, the happy holiday seasons could mean dark depression. Let's welcome Bryson Lind, a clinical mental health counselor from the Marriage and Family Clinic, to the table.
Welcome, Bryson.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
it's good to have you here.
'Tis the season, but
Yes.
sometimes it's not the happiest season for everyone.
It can definitely be a difficult time for a lot of people, especially if you've just moved to town or you've lost family or maybe you've gone through a divorce. It
Some
can
of those
be,
transition periods.
yeah, it can be a lonely time for a lot of people, especially when everyone else is smiling.
Good point.
Well, oftentimes even getting together with family can a lot of contention. It's difficult to sit down with the family sometimes,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
can trigger
There's
you.
dread, yes. How can people come to you, or can you guide that in the right direction?
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of ways that people can feel kind of that dread. Sometimes you have family that maybe for multiple different reasons don't get along or didn't get along in the previous holiday season. And
Okay.
so you feel the dread of coming back to that, where, especially in the community that we live in, where everybody has a happy family, right?
What that seems like, yeah.
Definitely.
And on social media, they're seeing all the happy families.
Definitely, definitely. And so a lot of conflict can come up and a lot of loneliness can come up as well. And so oftentimes topics can come up at the dinner table where maybe you are arguing about politics.
Yes,
right?
and say politics or religion, all those
Yep.
things you should just leave at the door, right?
Especially politics, right? Because it's the midterms.
Yes, all of the triggering issues, all the issues that are really important to us. And honestly, those conversations need to be had. But I think when you come to the table on the holidays and get together as a family or get together as friends, you need to kind of figure out what your final outcome is in mind. Is this a time to resolve conflict about politics or about differing religions? Or maybe we don't like the person that our children are bringing home, or whatever it is. Is this the best time to resolve all of those issues? And I would venture to say probably not, right? It's probably best to prepare before the holidays for those types of things. Have those conversations, talk about those things. If you can't get through it, then it's good to set a boundary. Let's push pause on this so that we can come back to it during a time where maybe we're not all trying to be together and all trying to get along at the same time. And that takes a lot of pressure off of that situation. And so when you get together, you can set a boundary where it's just like, these are things that I've noticed have kind of set us off. And I want this to be an opportunity where we can just all enjoy each other's company as much as we possibly can. And it's okay to say religion and politics are off the table.
So you're not necessarily dismissing someone's, like, I'm not saying what you think isn't good or whatever, but let's just put that aside and talk about fun and happy things and engage in a different meaningful conversation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a good kind of little strategy, just in case those things do come up, is it's okay to just briefly switch the subject, where it's just like, let's talk about something that's fun, that is upcoming, like a game that we want to watch together, or a holiday movie that we all enjoy together. It's okay to talk about those things and not talk about the deep, dark things or the serious things at that moment. Sometimes you don't escape from those types of conversations. And the best thing that you can do is, again, if you know yourself and you know that you're quite reactive, it's good to practice beforehand. I'm going to take a deep breath in this conversation. And my outcome is not to be necessarily right about everything, but to build this relationship with the person that I love in front of me. So really respecting what they have to say. And it's okay to say, you know what, we don't see eye to eye on certain things. I can see maybe where you're coming from on this particular issue. It doesn't mean I necessarily agree with it 100%, but that's okay, because I love you more than I love being right.
Right. Now, what about for the people who have, I actually have a lot of family that has passed away during the holidays, and I don't know what it is about the holidays, but it seems like maybe it's just because it is the holidays, then someone passes away, and it just, now the holidays come and you're thinking of that loved one that you've lost. And so what would you say to somebody in that situation?
Yeah, I think grief is complicated, and it's never okay to just tell someone to get over it.
Which is really important, because I think a lot of people jump to that.
Definitely.
Because they don't know, it's uncomfortable for them to feel what someone else is feeling. So they say, well, just, they're in a better place or whatever. I've heard people say that too. And that's not comforting, right? Right.
And maybe you believe that, and maybe the person who has experienced the loss believes that too, but it doesn't take away from the fact that that person is gone and they're not coming back, at least for the foreseeable future, if you believe in that.
Yeah.
And so telling them to get over it is not the best strategy. So what I would say is, if you are one of those people who has lost somebody, research shows that people who try to maintain those connections with their lost loved ones are usually the ones with the best outcomes. And so
in what way would you say maintain those connections?
Definitely.
Give us some examples of that.
If you're religious, maintaining kind of religious beliefs and traditions during the holiday times that you might have participated in with that loved one that is now gone. Continuing those family traditions during the holidays can be really healing. Something that you can also do too, I'm going to take a drink really fast.
Go ahead, you're talking a lot. These are great ideas, by the way.
Something that you can also do too is, the person that you have lost is gone, and they will always be important to you. However, you're still here, and you have who knows how long to be left on this planet that we all live on. and you have people in front of you that care about you, and you have future experiences that you can still thrive and enjoy on. And so what you can do is you can start new traditions with those people as well. What am I going to do differently this year that adds meaning to my life? Something that you can also do is serve others as well.
That's a great idea.
We touched on this briefly, that everyone else might have a smile on their face, but what if I'm feeling lonely?
Sure.
Any recommendations for those dealing with loneliness during the holidays?
Definitely. So loneliness, oftentimes it's a tricky thing just because it's something that kind of tells us the truth and lies to us at the same time. The lie is that I am the only one that is feeling this way. And that is not true. There are so many people just like you that are feeling those feelings of loneliness for different reasons. And not that that makes it better or easier, but just knowing that you're sharing that little piece of you with the rest of humanity. We all feel lonely. That's a normal human experience. And it's okay to feel more lonely in some parts of our lives than others, right? So what I would say during these times, this is a time to really ramp up and amp up your self-care. What are things that you really like to do? What are things that bring meaning and happiness? Something else that you can do again is to find ways to serve other people who also might be lonely, such as visiting an elderly care facility or visiting a homeless shelter. Be somebody else's light in their life.
Do you know what's interesting about what you're saying? Because I've volunteered at the senior center for a while, and all these people come in, and you think, well, all these people, like, they're around, I mean, about close to 150 to 200 people when they all come. But one day I went and sat by a lady that was on one of the outside tables. And I just started talking to her, and she's like, thank you for talking to me. I have felt so lonely today. And here she is in a huge crowd of people, but sometimes people don't, say anything to somebody else, or she's like, I have my walker, so I can't really get in there to where all the chatty people are. And
Definitely.
so I thought that was so interesting, that just put even if you're lonely, and I've definitely felt lonely for sure in my life,
Even amongst the crowd.
just to say, you know what, I'm just gonna just talk to somebody, even if it's the cashier at the grocery store or just anybody. You don't know. They can be around a lot of people and still feel lonely.
Absolutely.
What about anger then? If somebody has become bitter to something, maybe they've just recently experienced a divorce or estranged children that are not coming home for the holidays, and they just are mad at the world because why should we have the holidays? Because why?
Absolutely. Yeah, anger can be a tricky one, and usually anger is a secondary emotion, and the first emotion is loss. Loss of the opportunity that we could have had something and we don't. That's kind of similar to loneliness as well, right?
Or sadness, right? Sadness can be an underlying emotion there.
That's right. That's
But it's
right.
loss, but not the permanent loss. So
Right.
I can imagine like being angry but not sad.
Yeah, and so I think something that can be helpful about anger is an emotion that moves us forward. What can I do about my current situation in order to make my current situation better? And it's really hard to see in the moment, and I think, again, being patient with yourself, because that can take time. It can take years to not be angry, right? But once you kind of get out of that kind of sense of, I'm going to be angry at everybody, I'm going to be a Scrooge during Christmas or the holidays or whatever it is, eventually you need to get to the point, and I'm not setting a time limit on this on purpose, where I have to keep living. Just like somebody who has lost someone who's near and dear to them. I can't be a victim of my circumstances forever, right? And so you begin to build meaning in your life, and human beings do that by creating connection.
Okay. Well, so good. We need more time, most definitely.
Yeah, and Bryson, before we leave, will you just let our viewers know where you are located and how people can get a hold of you if they are in need of visiting with someone?
Yeah, definitely.
Having a therapist.
So I work with my partner, Peyton Holt, who is a marriage and family practitioner. And we are at the Marriage and Family Clinic on Main Street. It's just across from Carl's Jr.
Yep, right by the Parks and Rec building.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up next, overcoming challenges that can lead to amazing results. Stay with us to find out more. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Our next guest has worked through 15 years of issues to reach a new summit in her life. Let's welcome Mary Crafts back to our table.
Welcome, Mary. Thank you. I love being here with you. This is, first of all, I live in Spanish Fork, so
Yeah.
it's real fun and close to come here. But next of all, to do something locally with my peeps, I love that.
Well, weren't you just on Studio 5 a couple days ago?
KSL. Before that, I was on Good Things Utah, and
So yeah, this is easy. It's
But
a
we can
5-minute
all
drive.
brag that you're one of us.
it's true.
You're one
Right?
of us.
I'm from Spanish.
Yes.
I know how to say that, you know,
Yes.
because if you're really from Spanish, you don't say I'm from Spanish Fork. You say I'm from Spanish.
From Spanish,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yes.
That's right.
So the opener said you've had like 15 years of trials. I've been listening to your podcast since you came back in April. You've had more than 15 years of trials, haven't you?
Well, for me, I think as most of us kind of look at our childhood and we think, can get that very much poor me syndrome, and we tend to live in victimville. And I lived there for a long time of my life. But the reason the promo said 15 years, I'm now 69, so it's actually 19 years. At age 50, so anyone who says it's too late, come talk to me. At age 50, I just took a look at what do I really want in life? And if my life is half over, what's next? And how do I move from this stuck place to this place of fulfillment and the woman I know that I really am inside? Not the woman I want to be, but the woman I already knew I was. And how do you break away all those fears and step into the best version of you?
So you decided to take on that steering wheel yourself and realize you're the one driving this.
Yeah. I had lunch the other day with a good friend of mine, and as I listened to her and all of her issues and things, I just kept hearing this poor me thing and this theme. And I said, I'm going to give you a copy of my book because there's a whole chapter entitled, Pack Your Bags, Girlfriend, We're Moving Out of Victimville. And I said, it's time to pack your bags and step out of victimville. It hasn't been serving you.
Is that hard to say to someone?
This is a long time good friend.
Okay,
And so,
but the
So
way
you
you
have
just
the-
said it though
Pack
would not
your
be offensive at
bags.
all. You're just like, let's pack your bags and
Yeah.
reach
Because
out.
you say it with such enthusiasm
And love.
and love, and because you've lived there,
Yeah.
and you've risen above it. And I think that's what I love listening to your podcast, even because you're, if I had this choice to end my life here, or when you're always saying I'm going to live till I'm 100,
Right,
like
right.
I love that so much, like.
with an option to renew. If I get there,
Yes,
life is still
yes.
fabulous. I'm going to keep going.
Oh wow, that's just so.
I like that, with an option to renew, because my checkout date's like 80.
Oh, no, girl.
If I'm healthy and strong, I'll keep going. I'll take the option
Well,
to renew.
Let's
but-
just remove that word if, because that would be a victim word. And let's just say, because I'm living to be at least 80, I'm going to take an option to renew because I'm going to be fabulous, because I am fabulous.
love that.
And you're taking charge of what's going on in your life. And the reason that it's easy to talk to this woman is, first, she's a good friend, but next of all, she's known me for more than 19 years. She's known me when I was living in victimville and that I was out of control. And how many of us have said those things or felt that way, where it's, poor me. If it was just if I had this opportunity, if I'd had this opportunity, or if it wasn't for this, or my ex-husband, or my boss, or whatever, it's not serving us.
So I happened to be on Instagram the day that you received your books, and you were kind of doing the unboxing.
Yeah.
And I was so touched to feel your emotion, because you poured a lot of love into this book.
I have.
So tell us a little bit about
That emotion.
what that emotion. Yeah.
At first, I thought that I was going to be like real excited, and I thought this is an accomplishment that I've worked on now since I've been back from Kilimanjaro, But what I felt was something so different. I felt this overwhelming sense of gratitude that everything I'd worked for has now come, and I had my family with me, and I was able to like embrace this book and go like, I still feel those emotions that day of unboxing this.
I'm sure.
And every time someone posts something about that they've received their book and here's their review and here's this, I do get excited, but more than that, there's such a sense of gratitude. Gratitude that I was able to even live this life. And that's one of the tickets that you can take out of Victimville, is you get this gratitude, this sense of like, rather than seeing all those struggles as your detriment, all those struggles were my gifts. And I got to use them to build this life. If I hadn't have lived that life, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Right.
And that's the greatest gift that I think I have to offer people. This is kind of a how-to book. People say, is it about you, somebody? Well, I use my life stories to illustrate, but the book it's a how-to book. How to unbind those fears that have held us bound for so long and find and discover this absolutely beautiful, authentic person that's lived inside of us all these years.
Well, I love the cover because when I think about hard times in life, you look at this and it's like when you are hiking a mountain and you've made it to the top, and so you're telling the rest of us, I've seen the view and it is awesome. And it's like, I know you're down there making your way up, but keep going. And I love that imagery of this in your book.
One thing I'd like to tell people about that is, though, it's not about the summit. Because
About the journey?
It's about the journey. I spent a year preparing for Kilimanjaro. I spent a week in the summiting. And you spend 15 minutes on top.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
If it were only about the summit and those 15 minutes, what a waste of time. You know what I mean? But it's about the process, the journey that I went through, and facing every single fear that I'd ever had in my life again on the mountain. And then to come down the mountain and realize, well, that was great, but what now? What's next?
Yeah.
Right.
And when I faced that mountain, so many times I shook my fist at the mountain and said, in Utah, people love me, and I'm a very important person, and I trained hard for this climb, and the mountain would say back to me, yeah, I don't care.
Oh.
What do you bring today?
Right.
And that's a lesson I've kept with me. It doesn't matter that I had this great company for
Right.
35 years. It doesn't matter that I did all these things and I went through this weight loss journey. None of that matters. That's in the past. And yes, it gave me a feeling of accomplishment, but it's in the morning when I wake up, what do I bring each day? And
Yes.
I'm loving life, let me just say.
I know.
Well, and you do live it. Like I think that's the part that's so wonderful about you. It's you're living it, and you're like, I'm gonna go to Ukraine. I'm going to help people, and I listened to that day as well. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is it that boots, gloves? What did you offer to the?
Oh,
Do you remember?
yeah, lots of things. It's-
Lots of things. There was one story in particular, and it was so heartwarming.
Yeah.
Like that's just probably.
I walked into a supply tent that was like this mass of dump, and they said, organize it. I was like, okay, I'm a caterer, I can do this. And it took me about 8 hours, but as I would find things, I would just run outside, who needs gloves? And then they'd be gone. Who needs a warm coat? And they'd be gone. But when they'd come to the door and ask me, hi, do you have any shoes or boots? I'm like, who knows what's in here? But eventually I was able to find things and help people and use my life skills to make a difference there.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love your growth mindset. You've heard of the fixed mindset, growth mindset, and you can feel that about taking your journey and everything that you've been through. It's the growth. It's like every day you're open to new things. You're open to learning.
Yeah, I truly am, and that's what I feel is here. It's kind of like my gift. It's my gift to all of those who are looking, and and to inspire them. People have said, well, like, should I give this to my sister? She needs help. I'm like, yes, you should give it to your sister, but you should also give it to, you know, the young woman who is just like, what is my life? What is next? Or to the teenager. There's nothing in here that I'm giving them to my junior high and teenagers. There's nothing in here that I wouldn't want them to read. Can I just tell you what happened that day after I opened my box?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
When my first
Please.
100 came. So it was Sunday dinner. My family was all
Okay.
there. I, you know, opened the box, but then the filming ended. My daughter was filming. So my grandchildren all rushed over. And they just like thumbing through the book, you know, like, Grandma wrote a book. And my little 12-year-old opened this page and she looked down here and she said, guys, Grandma's dedicated this book to us. She goes, well, our name's right there. And they were so excited. And I go, yes, sweetheart. Because your little faces were in front of me every step on that mountain. And you're the reason I did it, to prove to all of us that we can do hard things. And we can. And that, you remember what I said the night before I left? You're never going to forget that Grandma did a hard thing and that you can too.
Mary, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. So do you have a favorite chapter or a favorite quote? Or if, as our time's running out, what would be your one
I do
thing
have
in here?
a couple favorite quotes because they're all favorite quotes, but the one I like the most, and people ask me that, well, I don't know how to move from fear to love and living in fear, which I did, to living in love. And there's a long passageway between those two, but I do know the first step, and I talk about that in this book, is that the healing starts when the hiding stops. We have to be willing to be vulnerable, to let those pieces that we've been hiding our whole lives out. And as we become more vulnerable, we realize that people love us anyway, and that we're acceptable.
What a weight
Once you
off of your
take that and you
shoulders.
hold that, and you're like, I'm never going to hide again, then you can begin to heal.
And people connect with people who are vulnerable. That's the irony.
Yeah.
Is that you actually get more connection with people when you are vulnerable, and they
Yeah.
sense your genuine nature.
And that's why on my podcast and every place when I talk about, hey, I'm still in the middle of it, kids, you know. I woke up this morning, was scared to death to come here, so don't think you ever have it behind you. But now you recognize, you go, I know you, my old friend, your fear, you know. And I can walk past that. I have the tools now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You're such an inspiration. Thank you so
And
much.
thank you for these books.
you.
Real fast, can we just jump on Amazon if we want to order more?
You can order them on Amazon, Unbounded by Mary Crafts. The whole title is Unbounded, From Sorrow to Summit by Mary Crafts, and they are available on Amazon.
Thanks, Mary.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Coming up next on Studio Chatter, would you like to break through the walls surrounding you? Stay with us for more. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. How we approach every situation in life is dictated by our past experiences. Our next guest helps others to break through personal limitations and is now helping those that can't help themselves in Ukraine. Let's welcome Luis Vega, the Executive Director of the Crone Breakthrough Foundation, to the conversation.
Ooh, Natasha.
Welcome.
Yes, ladies,
So
thank you so
glad
much.
to have you here.
A pleasure. A pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We
Now, this
could go on for a long time.
I know. I don't know that we're going to have enough time to get through everything
I
we want
know.
to talk about.
Let's start with your foundation. Touch base a little bit about what is your foundation.
Yes. So the Crone Breakthrough Foundation has two missions. The first one is to change lives through breakthrough. Breakthrough for us is what it sounds like, but it's a mental mindset, emotional intelligence breakthrough that we help certain pillars in the community, education, family, and communities, to identify limited beliefs. People are stuck in life with something that they feel has wronged them, has helped them. There's a victimhood mentality, and it's held them back all their life. And what we do is help identify it, peel back the onion layer, replace it with a new belief for your highest and best self, and then an actionable plan to execute and move forward to realize your full purpose. So we go out and do that for free for the community. especially for the youth, right? They're tomorrow's leaders.
I was going to say, this sounds like something I need to pep talk my kids. Okay, off the
Right.
video games today.
And then our second mission or second objective would be a humanitarian effort. We said, how can we take breakthrough to the world where there's people struggling in across the world in these different, humanitarian crises? Right. And of course, the forefront right now and centerfold for us is Ukraine.
So tell us what you do there in Ukraine. That's
Oh man,
so interesting.
2 weeks ago, we just got back from our second humanitarian mission in Ukraine. What we did is we decided as a board, we have our founders, Chris and Colleen Crone. They are amazing individuals who not only give their time, talent, and treasure, but they say, we'll roll up our sleeves and we're gonna go there with you in Ukraine, Luis, because it's important that those that need help over there, the most vulnerable, take away politics, take away all of that. War came to innocent people's doorstep.
right.
And they are hurting right now for electricity, water, food, right? The basic human
Everything.
necessities. And we decided we want bottom-up solutions to work with, to cut out the middleman so that our donor dollars, we honor their intent by saying, we're taking your donor dollars to the end user, the Ukrainians, ourselves. We'll be the delivering. So we've gone to Ukraine and we've gone into Donetsk all the way to the front lines. There's risk involved. I'm not going to lie to you. It was the most impactful moment of my life to be out there.
Wow.
But we've extracted 15 of the most vulnerable, elderly couples, out of a place called Bakhmut, in a village that was in bombardment from Russian artillery, indirect fire. And I guess to summarize is that our volunteers, who are also our donors, went in there, and we have a team on the ground, a partnership, because we work with an organization called the Mozart Group, and they specialize in extraction missions.
Okay.
And so we take them out of harm's way and bring them into a safe house with food, water, shelter. And to see these old elderly couple who lost everything, and we have like basic, I would say, food and snacks, and they're shoveling things into their purse and into their pockets because they don't know when their next meal's gonna come, because they've been counting days on their cellar door while their apartment on top is getting bombarded by missiles. So
And they can't go anywhere because, so how hard is it to get them out? Is this?
There's a network. They're the forgotten right now, because what happened is Ukraine was a forefront in the media for a bit, and occasionally it pops up again when there's talk of nuclear war. But truly, besides the politics of it, we said, this is the largest humanitarian crisis since World War II. How can we have the most direct impact? Well, we have to not just say, here is, write a check and say, here is, and please go forth and conquer. For us, it's like, let's go there with you, and in partnership, who needs our help? So women and children that stayed on the front in the hopes that they either would be liberated, or they got nothing left and it's their only home, their sanctuary, and they said, I'm not leaving. There's a pride in the Ukrainians that's very admirable, for sure. But when the bombs start hitting, they throw out a local network that says, we need saving, world help us. And for us, we said, let's be that calling. Let's be the people that will go in there, work with, we don't work with the military, we work with an NGO, a local NGO that has a network. We do a lot of risk mitigation, a lot of different layers of security, because we're completely humanitarian. And we go in and we extract those civilians in Sprinter vans, Mercedes Sprinter vans, that are hiding under trees as there's bombardment. And when we fill them, we take them back. Sorry to be long-winded, but the last thing I'll say is the biggest sanctuary I've ever had, a sacred place for me, is an old rusty motel in Bakhmut, because we took them there and these people had freedom and had a taste of not just the gratitude and safety that they're okay, but it gave me hope and I guess I'd say fulfillment to keep on doing what we're doing with the Chrome Breakthrough
that would be
Foundation.
so deeply satisfying,
Wow.
just to witness that in person.
Yeah. Well, we offered that to our supporters, our those that when you join the Crone Breakthrough Foundation, you have two things. You literally have a breakthrough, and what that means for us is a paradigm shift in your mental mindset, emotional intelligence, basically self-healing. Everyone today, all three of you, there's something that needs to heal in your past, and you haven't addressed it. You've either buried it in your high functioning, or you're depressed and you put on the mask, right?
So you helped them kind of uncover that, and you were saying like pull those layers back and
Yes. We have breakthrough coaches. And what that means for us is they're just individuals that we have a 9-step model, but long story short is it's a one-on-one. We put you in the driver's seat. I'm a veteran. When I came into this organization, I buried a lot of stuff from my service, you know. Precious things are taken from soldiers. And for 10 years, I struggled. And Breakthrough, I've gone, by the way, you know, I'm a high proponent of mental health and anti-suicide awareness. And what Breakthrough did for me with the foundation was what the VA and therapists couldn't do was put me in the driver's seat of my own healing, right?
yeah, let you kind of guide that, but help you along the way and be a support, right?
100%. And that's what we do for individuals. And we do that for those in country, although in country, meaning our humanitarian effort, it is a bit more sensitive, right? They're going through a war zone. We help orphans in Ukraine as well. There's the extraction portion, and then there's a humanitarian aid with orphans over there. So it is the most impactful work that we can do in this crisis right now.
Well, you hear the story, you know, and it seems like such a world away, but you've had boots on the ground. And we hear those stories and want outreach to help, you know. So how do we get involved?
Yeah, well, so you could find us a few ways. If you just put in cronebreakthrough.org, that's our website. Social media, which also is our vehicle for letting everyone know when you come with us, we're virtually going to take you to Ukraine. And there's OPSEC, operational security, that we can't post. And there's other things that we post while we're there to show you exactly what we're doing. And so anything at Crone Breakthrough is for Instagram, for Facebook, and TikTok is at Crone Breakthrough. You can find us there. And if you reach out, we need the support. We need the help for the abandoned, for the forgotten, and for the most vulnerable in Ukraine. Like we're going back in March. We will not forget you. This was not a one-time injection. So it's long-term value add. Yeah.
That is amazing. I love your stories. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to. I want to go there. Part of me, I have a friend.
Let's go.
I have a friend that's there, and he posts on social media and tells like, well, here's a picture. He posted a picture of one of his friends who owned a business there, and they bombed the business, and she was obviously in it and gone. And
when missiles hit, we were there in the heart of Kiev at first, and these donors are from everywhere across the United States, and they've also sacrificed their time, talent, and treasure. Again, we mitigate risk, but you can only do so much over there.
Right.
And we are getting ready for our missions to do humanitarian efforts, and then all of a sudden we're at dinner, and by the way, the resiliency of the Ukrainian people, like they're trying to live their day-to-day life when war is at their doorstep, and all of a sudden the air sirens come on. And from me in the military, I know we have about 5 to 7 minutes before a missile hits from when it's detected in the anti-air dome. And the bravery in the volunteers that came with us that hadn't been in a warfare environment, that we couldn't do nothing but wait underneath like the stairway cellar until the missile cleared. And they were resolved to say, it's more important now than ever that like, for them is legacy and so much of what will happen for all of us when our grandchildren say, when the world said, help us, and in the history books they say, Russia invaded this, what were you doing? Now, we all help in our own way, but for us, we said we're taking action.
Yeah.
We're having direct impact. And we hope that we continue to do so.
Well, I love that that's, you know, whatever you are teaching other people, you're doing it yourself. And I think that is so awesome.
Well, it's empowering others like you, patriots, right? Like, or anybody that is like.
You're not just doing the talk, you're walking the walk.
That's what we want. That's the different approach we want.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
inspiring.
Thank you so much, Stacey.
Thanks for
Thank you for your
doing
message.
this. This is impactful. We'll look into seeing what we can do.
Appreciate you all.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
There's more studio chatter coming up. Welcome back. Wow, we've had a plate full of topics today. What were a few of your favorites?
Holy smokes, it was
Well, I just love how it kind of started with lightheartedness, like with Stone Jug, and just learning how to take care of yourself. And then we get to a little bit deeper issues.
Right.
With mental health and then Ukraine. Oh my gosh. Just
that's heavy.
it's really heavy. Oh
my goodness.
Conversation.
and
Oh, thank you.
And then there were eclairs.
and then the eclairs. So
And Mary Crafts. I mean, I've
Mary.
been such a fan for so long, and I never had the chance to meet her the last time she was here. So that was super awesome. And with the advent of her book, and just so
and she's just
inspirational.
like her happiness and her hope just radiates.
Right? Yes.
Like you can feel it.
I remember last time when she came, she really kept talking about the oneness. That
Yeah.
just being one with one another.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That resonated with me.
And that's and isn't that such a truth? I mean, when you think of Ukraine and how much they are just their pride in their country and the people and who they are, and
Yeah.
there is strength in any area that you have that oneness. So I love that. I love that thought.
Well, and it really does just put everything in perspective when you step back and say, like, I mean, I have a
No
really
complaining.
great
Yeah,
life.
there's no complaining. I was at an event today and they're like, talk about like a triumph and then a struggle. I'm like, I don't want to talk about any struggles when I'm talking to like young moms balancing a career with little kids. Like that's
hard.
Like I'm doing a lot of different things, but I'm not dealing with littles, and that adds to it. You both know that because you're right in the
when
middle of it.
when you're emotionally, well, they sometimes emotionally and physically exhaust you. But
Yes.
then it just feels like
Yeah.
There's certainly different stressors in every season of life.
Yes, it does. It does
Yes.
adjust.
Right.
Well,
That is
Angela,
true.
thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh.
We love
Yes,
having you
it
here.
has
Eat
been a
up.
good.
Yes, have a treat.
It has been so fun. I just love hearing the stories, and I love meeting the guests. And
Well, I
so-
hope you both have a happy Thanksgiving, and that there's no drama with any of the family.
My-
Well, now we
Likewise.
know. Just put that in a box and save it for later.
Everybody leave it here, right?
If it's high intensity, maybe you all need to just go to therapy and
There you go.
you know, and there's such a stigmatism with therapy though. People are like, oh, you're going to therapy, but it's
Right.
like I don't know how to fix my plumbing, so I call a plumber, right?
Right.
I don't know how to. So same thing.
Well,
Get the help.
We
It
want
is
you back
there.
in that capacity another time as well.
Oh, you
Yeah,
will be.
someday, yes.
Yes.
You'll be our resident therapist.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. Yes. Here we go.
Happy,
There we go.
happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed the program. If you learned something new today, please tell a friend about us.